What if loving your life isn't about changing your circumstances, but about transforming the way you see them? Imagine this. It's dawn in ancient Rome, and Marcus Aurelius, a philosopher king who ruled one of the greatest empires in history, sits quietly by a flickering oil lamp. Despite the immense responsibilities resting on his shoulders, his thoughts aren't consumed by conquest or control. Instead, he pens a simple yet profound truth in his meditations. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Now, fast forward to today. The world is noisier, faster, and more demanding than ever before. We live in an age of relentless notifications, societal pressures, and the constant pursuit of validation. For many, this noise has drowned out their sense of purpose and joy, leaving them feeling unfulfilled and disconnected. But what if you could press pause on this chaos? What if, like Marcus Aurelius, you could reclaim your sense of peace, not by changing the external world, but by mastering your internal one? This isn't about quick fixes or fleeting moments of happiness. It's about adopting timeless Stoic principles that will help you rediscover meaning, peace, and love for your life. Ready to take the first step? Let's explore 5 transformative principles that can reignite your joy and help you reclaim your life, starting now. Principle 1. Stop comparing yourself to others. The first step to loving your life again is letting go of the habit that steals your joy: comparison. It creeps into our thoughts almost unnoticed, sowing seeds of dissatisfaction and self-doubt. Whether it's scrolling through social media, hearing a colleague boast about their achievements, or seeing someone who appears to have a perfect life, comparison whispers in our ear, "Why aren't you where they are?" But what if you could silence that voice? What if, instead of measuring yourself against others, you focused entirely on becoming the best version of yourself? Lucas, a young and gifted musician, knew this struggle all too well. For years, Lucas poured his soul into creating music, crafting melodies that touched hearts. Yet, he avoided sharing his work with the world. Every time he imagined performing in front of an audience, he was paralyzed by the thought of being compared to celebrated artists with flawless performances and massive followings. "I'll never be as good as them," he told himself repeatedly. This mindset kept him trapped, robbing him of opportunities to grow and connect with others through his art. One day, while browsing a bookstore in a rare moment of leisure, Lucas stumbled upon a quote from Epictetus. "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The words struck a chord. Lucas realized that his constant comparisons were rooted in a craving for external validation. By wanting to match or surpass others, he had unwittingly devalued his unique talent. This realization was a turning point. Instead of measuring his worth by applause or accolades, Lucas began to focus on the joy of creation and the personal fulfillment it brought. When Lucas finally performed publicly, it wasn't flawless, but it was genuine. The audience wasn't captivated by perfection. They were moved by his authenticity. By shifting his attention inward, Lucas not only freed himself from the chains of comparison, but also rediscovered the passion that had drawn him to music in the first place. His story reminds us that comparison doesn't inspire growth, it stifles it. Freedom lies in embracing our unique journey. Comparison distorts reality. It's easy to forget that what we see of others, whether on social media or in real life, is rarely the whole truth. Social media, in particular, presents a curated highlight reel, rather than the messy, complex reality behind the scenes. Yet we often use these selective glimpses as benchmarks for our self-worth. Marcus Aurelius warned against this trap in Meditations. How much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself. Every moment spent comparing ourselves to others is a moment lost from focusing on our own progress. This distortion creates envy, a corrosive emotion that eats away at our sense of peace and gratitude. Instead of celebrating our achievements, we diminish them because they don't measure up to someone else's. Imagine climbing a mountain only to dismiss your accomplishment because another peak appears taller in the distance. Comparison shifts your focus from what you've gained to what you lack, draining emotional energy that could be better spent on self-improvement. The Stoics understood that the antidote to comparison is self-reflection and gratitude. Marcus Aurelius urged us to prioritize our own actions and values over the opinions of others. By doing so, we free ourselves from the external pressures that fuel dissatisfaction. If you are distressed by anything external, Marcus wrote, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This wisdom invites us to reclaim control over our thoughts and redirect our energy inward. Breaking free from comparison requires intentional practice. A powerful first step is gratitude journaling. Each day, take a few minutes to write down 3 personal achievements or qualities you're proud of. They don't have to be grand or extraordinary. Perhaps you showed kindness to a stranger, completed a challenging task, or took a step toward a long-term goal. These reflections help shift your focus from what you lack to what you already have, fostering a sense of contentment and self-respect. Another transformative practice is to measure your progress against yourself, not others. Instead of asking, "Am I better than them?" ask, "Am I better than I was yesterday?" This mindset encourages growth without the toxic comparison. Celebrate even the smallest improvements, whether it's learning a new skill, overcoming a fear, or simply persevering through a difficult day. By focusing on your personal journey, you cultivate resilience and self-confidence. Consider this. When was the last time you felt inadequate because of comparison? Was it while scrolling through social media, overhearing someone's success story, or reflecting on your own perceived shortcomings? What would change if you redirected that energy toward your own growth? Write down your thoughts and take a moment to envision how freeing it would feel to break this cycle. To further solidify this practice, limit your exposure to comparison triggers. If social media exacerbates feelings of inadequacy, take a break or curate your feed to include content that uplifts and inspires rather than feeds envy. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your growth and remind you of your unique strengths. These small but impactful changes can help create an environment that nurtures self-acceptance. Lucas's story, like so many others, highlights that the path to joy lies not in outshining others, but in shining authentically as yourself. When you stop comparing, you open the door to creativity, connection, and a profound sense of peace. Imagine waking up each morning unburdened by the need to compete, free to pursue your goals and passions with clarity and purpose. This is the freedom Stoicism offers, a life where fulfillment comes not from external validation, but from internal alignment. The next time you catch yourself comparing, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, what am I gaining from this thought? How can I redirect this energy to build a better version of myself? By consistently practicing this shift in perspective, you'll not only reclaim your joy, but also inspire others to do the same. If this message resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's create a supportive community where we celebrate progress over perfection. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more Stoic insights that can transform your life. Together, we can break free from the cycle of comparison and embrace a life filled with gratitude, growth, and genuine fulfillment. Principle 2. Define your priorities. Once you stop comparing, the next step is to define what truly matters in your life. Without clarity, it's all too easy to be swept up in the endless stream of tasks, obligations, and distractions that modern life presents. We often confuse busyness with productivity, mistaking motion for progress. But the truth is, unless we intentionally prioritize what aligns with our values, we risk spending our energy on pursuits that leave us unfulfilled. Defining your priorities is not just about achieving more, it's about living with purpose. Peter's story illustrates this perfectly. A renowned chef, Peter seemed to have it all: a chain of high-profile restaurants, industry awards, and public acclaim. From the outside, his life appeared to be a blueprint for success. Yet behind the scenes, Peter was drowning in responsibilities that had little to do with his passion for cooking. His days were consumed by meetings, administrative tasks, and endless emails. He had built an empire, but in doing so, he had lost touch with the very craft that had inspired him to pursue this career in the first place. One evening, while flipping through a book of philosophy, Peter came across a quote from Marcus Aurelius: "If you seek tranquility, do less." These 4 words struck him like lightning. He realized that his life had become cluttered with unnecessary commitments. Tranquility wasn't something he could achieve by adding more. It was something he could discover by stripping away the excess. Peter made a bold decision. He sold most of his restaurants and returned to his hometown to open a modest bistro. This wasn't just a business decision, it was a return to his values. In his bistro, Peter could cook with care, engage with his customers, and pour his heart into every dish. At first, many criticized his move as a step backward, but Peter didn't care about others' perceptions. He had found something far more valuable: peace and fulfillment. Peter's story is a testament to the Stoic principle of intentional living. Marcus Aurelius often advised his readers to question the necessity of their actions. Ask yourself at every moment, "Is this necessary?" he wrote. This simple question challenges us to evaluate how we spend our time and energy. Are we pursuing what truly matters, or are we caught in the whirlwind of distractions? Defining your priorities is about cutting through the noise and focusing on what aligns with your values. The process begins with self-reflection. What truly matters to you? Is it nurturing your family, advancing your career, contributing to your community, or pursuing personal growth? There is no universal answer. Your priorities are as unique as you are. The key is to identify them and allow them to guide your decisions. This clarity becomes a compass, steering you away from unproductive detours and toward meaningful progress. To make this process tangible, try creating a top 5 priorities list. Start by asking yourself, if I could only focus on 5 things in my life, what would they be? Write them down. Once you have your list, rank them in order of importance. This exercise forces you to confront the reality of your choices. Are you devoting your energy to what matters most, or are you distracted by lesser pursuits? The act of writing these priorities down can be surprisingly illuminating, revealing misalignments between your values and your daily actions. Once your priorities are clear, the next step is to align your time with them. Peter's decision to leave behind his chain of restaurants and focus on a single bistro wasn't just a shift in career, it was a realignment of his time with his values. Similarly, you can start small by dedicating just 15 minutes a day to your top priority. If family is at the top of your list, spend that time fully present with a loved one, free from distractions. If personal health is your focus, use those minutes to exercise, prepare a healthy meal, or meditate. These small, intentional acts accumulate over time, creating a life that reflects your true values. But defining priorities isn't just about doing, it's also about letting go. Often we fill our schedules with commitments that don't serve our goals. Learning to say no is a powerful skill. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Do not be ashamed of being helped. What ought to matter to you is this: achieving the purpose for which you were born." By letting go of tasks, relationships, or habits that drain your energy, you create space for what truly matters. This isn't about abandoning responsibilities. It's about being honest with yourself about what adds value to your life. Of course, this process isn't always easy. Life's demands often compete for our attention, and it's easy to fall back into old patterns of busyness. When this happens, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this choice helping me move closer to my priorities, or is it pulling me away? This question serves as a grounding reminder to stay aligned with your goals. As you define your priorities, consider this. What are your top 3 priorities in life? Are you devoting enough energy to them? Reflect on how you spend your time each day. Are your actions aligned with your values, or are they dictated by external pressures and expectations? By asking these questions, you take the first step toward intentional living. Defining your priorities also sets an example for others. Just as Peter's story inspired his community, your commitment to living purposefully can inspire those around you. Imagine a world where more people chose to focus on what truly matters. How much more peaceful and fulfilling would life become? As you consider these ideas, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What's one priority you're committing to today? How will you align your actions with that priority? By sharing your journey, you inspire others to reflect on their own lives and make positive changes. Let's build a community that supports intentional living and celebrates the power of priorities. Defining your priorities is not a one-time task. It's an ongoing practice. Your values may evolve and your priorities may shift over time. The key is to remain adaptable while staying true to your core principles. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, tranquility comes not from doing more, but from doing what matters. So, take a moment today to pause, reflect, and redefine your path. The power to focus on what truly matters lies in your hands. Let today be the day you take that first step. Principle 3. Embrace solitude. Now that you've identified your priorities, it's time to carve out space to connect deeply with yourself. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and constant demands for your attention, solitude can feel like a luxury or even a discomfort. Yet, the Stoics believed that solitude is essential for clarity, peace, and self-discovery. It's not about withdrawing from life, but about creating a sanctuary within yourself where you can reflect, realign, and recharge. Consider the story of Dr. Robert, a biologist renowned for his groundbreaking research. Despite his professional success, he often found himself overwhelmed by the endless demands of his career, emails, meetings, and deadlines that left little room for creative thought. One morning, seeking relief, he decided to take a walk in the forest near his home. The first walk was simply a way to escape, but it quickly became a daily ritual. For 30 minutes each morning, Dr. Robert would stroll among the trees, listening to the rustle of leaves and the songs of birds, allowing his thoughts to flow freely. These moments of solitude didn't just bring him peace, they unlocked his creativity. Problems that had seemed insurmountable in the office unraveled in the quiet of the forest. Solutions appeared, not because he forced them, but because solitude gave his mind the space to think clearly. Dr. Robert often quoted Seneca's wisdom to explain his practice. "Nothing, to my way of thinking, is a better proof of a well-ordered mind than a man's ability to stop just where he is and pass some time in his own company." For him, solitude wasn't an escape. It was a source of strength and clarity. Solitude, as the Stoics understood it, is not the same as loneliness. Loneliness is a lack of connection with others, often accompanied by a sense of isolation or exclusion. Solitude, on the other hand, is a conscious choice to step away from external distractions and reconnect with your inner self. It's about creating a space where you can listen to your thoughts, process your emotions, and gain a clearer understanding of your priorities. In solitude, you find the clarity to see what truly matters and the courage to let go of what doesn't. Marcus Aurelius echoed this sentiment in Meditations. People seek retreats for themselves in the country by the sea or in the mountains. You too are inclined to desire such things. But this is altogether unphilosophic when it is possible for you to retire into yourself at any hour you please. According to Marcus, the greatest retreat is not a physical place, but a state of mind. No matter where you are or what challenges you face, you can find peace by turning inward. In our modern, hyper-connected world, the idea of solitude can feel foreign. Many of us are constantly tethered to our devices, filling every spare moment with notifications, social media, and endless to-do lists. The thought of sitting alone in silence without distractions can be intimidating, but solitude is a skill, one that, when practiced regularly, can transform your relationship with yourself and the world around you. One of the first steps to embracing solitude is to create a daily practice of stillness. Dedicate 10 minutes each day to silent reflection. Find a quiet space, free from distractions, and simply sit with your thoughts. Close your eyes, focus on your breath, and let your mind wander without judgment. At first, you may feel restless or even uncomfortable. That's normal. Over time, these moments of stillness will become a refuge, a space where you can process your thoughts, release tension, and cultivate a sense of inner peace. Another powerful way to embrace solitude is through journaling. Writing down your thoughts allows you to clarify your emotions, identify patterns, and uncover insights that might otherwise go unnoticed. Think of it as a conversation with yourself, a safe space where you can be honest and vulnerable. What's weighing on your mind? What are you grateful for? What challenges are you facing? And how can you approach them? These questions, explored in the quiet of solitude, can lead to remarkable self-discovery. Nature also offers a profound setting for solitude. Just as Dr. Robert found clarity during his forest walks, spending time in nature can help you reconnect with yourself and the world around you. Whether it's a walk in the park, a hike in the mountains, or simply sitting by a river, nature has a way of quieting the mind and awakening the senses. In these moments, you may find that the problems that once felt overwhelming begin to shrink in significance. But solitude isn't just about reflection, it's also about creativity and growth. When you step away from the noise of daily life, you create space for new ideas to emerge. Artists, writers, and thinkers throughout history have drawn inspiration from solitude. Albert Einstein famously said, "The monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind." Whether you're solving a problem, exploring a new idea, or simply seeking clarity, solitude can be the fertile ground where inspiration takes root. As you consider the role of solitude in your life, ask yourself, when was the last time you spent meaningful time alone? How did it make you feel? Did it bring you peace, clarity, or a fresh perspective? If you haven't made time for solitude recently, start small. Dedicate just a few minutes each day to being alone with your thoughts. Over time, you can expand these moments, creating a daily ritual that nourishes your mind and spirit. Imagine the freedom of waking up each day with a clear mind, unburdened by external distractions. Picture yourself navigating life's challenges with calm and confidence, knowing that you have a sanctuary within yourself where you can always find clarity and strength. This is the gift of solitude, a gift that is always available, if only we choose to embrace it. As you embark on this journey, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. What does solitude mean to you? How do you practice it in your daily life? By sharing your experiences, you can inspire others to explore the transformative power of solitude. And if this message resonates with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe for more insights on nurturing your inner self. Together, we can build a community that values reflection, self-discovery, and the quiet strength of solitude. Solitude is not about escaping the world, it's about preparing to engage with it more fully. By taking time to reconnect with yourself, you build the resilience, clarity, and perspective needed to navigate life's complexities. So what step will you take today to embrace solitude? Whether it's a moment of stillness, a walk in nature, or a session of journaling, give yourself the gift of time. In the quiet, you might just find the answers you've been searching for. Let's begin. Principle 4. Focus on what you can control. By embracing solitude, you've found clarity. Now, the next step is to focus your energy on what lies within your control. This principle, central to Stoicism, empowers us to stop wasting energy on the uncontrollable and instead invest it in actions that truly matter. In a chaotic world, mastering this mindset is like finding calm in the eye of a storm. Consider Daniel's story, a young entrepreneur whose first business venture failed spectacularly. Daniel had poured his heart and savings into building a tech startup. Despite his tireless effort, external factors, a sudden market downturn, a competitor's breakthrough, and unexpected supply chain disruptions led to his company's collapse. Devastated, he spent sleepless nights replaying the what-ifs in his mind, blaming himself for every misstep and regretting circumstances he couldn't change. Overwhelmed and paralyzed, he began to lose confidence not only in his abilities, but in the possibility of success. One night, while aimlessly scrolling through an online forum, Daniel came across a quote from Epictetus: "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." These words struck a chord. They were simple yet profound, offering a way out of the cycle of regret and self-recrimination. Daniel realized that while he couldn't rewrite the past or control market forces, he could change his response to failure. Inspired, he started a new habit. Each morning, he would journal 2 lists, one titled, "What's in my control?" and the other, "What's out of my control?" At first, this exercise felt mechanical, but it quickly became transformative. On his "In My Control" list, Daniel wrote actionable steps like improving his skills, rebuilding his network, and brainstorming ideas for a new venture. On his "Out of My Control" list, he listed the economy, competitors' decisions, and past mistakes. As he consciously shifted his focus to the first column, a weight lifted. By the end of the year, Daniel had not only regained his confidence, but had launched a new business, one that thrived because it was grounded in the lessons he'd learned. Daniel's story exemplifies one of Stoicism's most liberating principles: distinguishing between what you can and cannot control. This concept, often referred to as the dichotomy of control, is a cornerstone of Stoic thought. Epictetus taught that peace comes from recognizing the boundaries of our influence and accepting what lies beyond them. Similarly, Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The wisdom of these words lies in their practicality. While we can't dictate outcomes, we can choose our thoughts, actions, and attitudes. But why do we struggle to embrace this principle? Part of the challenge is that modern life often reinforces the illusion of control. Social media amplifies this by offering curated glimpses of others' seemingly perfect lives. tempting us to compare and compete. News cycles bombard us with crises, making us feel responsible for things far beyond our reach. Even personal relationships can become battlegrounds of unmet expectations and frustrations when we try to control others' behavior. The Stoics, however, encourage us to turn inward. Instead of expending energy on external factors, we can redirect it toward cultivating virtues like patience, resilience, and wisdom. Imagine how much lighter you'd feel if you stopped trying to change the unchangeable. For example, rather than worrying about a co-worker's attitude, focus on your professionalism. Instead of fretting over global events, engage in local acts of kindness. This shift not only reduces stress, but also empowers you to make meaningful progress. To internalize this principle, start each day with a simple exercise. Write down one thing you can control and one thing you can't. For instance, if you're anxious about an upcoming presentation, you can't control how your audience will react, but you can control your preparation. By focusing on what's within your power, you'll enter the situation with confidence and calm. Over time, this practice trains your mind to prioritize actionable steps over unproductive worries. Another powerful strategy is the in my control and out of my control journaling exercise that transformed Daniel's mindset. Take a sheet of paper, divide it into 2 columns, and list your current concerns. Under in my control, include actions you can take, like setting boundaries, improving skills, or seeking advice. Under out of my control, list external factors such as others' opinions or unforeseen obstacles. Reviewing this list daily can help you release unnecessary stress and focus on what truly matters. Let's take a moment to reflect. Think about the last time you were stressed or overwhelmed. Was it because of something outside your control? How did it affect your mood, energy, or decisions? Now, imagine how you might have approached the situation differently by focusing only on what you could influence. This mindset shift isn't about ignoring challenges. It's about choosing where to direct your energy for maximum impact. One of the most profound aspects of focusing on what you can control is its ripple effect. When you let go of the need to manage everything, you free up mental and emotional bandwidth. This not only enhances your productivity, but also improves your relationships. People around you will notice your calm and composed demeanor, and you may inspire them to adopt a similar mindset. In a chaotic world, your inner stability becomes a source of strength, not just for yourself, but for others. But focusing on what you can control doesn't mean ignoring external realities. Instead, it's about balancing acceptance with action. For example, if you're dealing with a health challenge, you may not be able to change the diagnosis, but you can control your diet, exercise, and attitude. If you're navigating a difficult relationship, you can't dictate how the other person behaves, but you can set boundaries and communicate with empathy. This approach fosters resilience by anchoring you in your values and empowering you to respond thoughtfully. Marcus Aurelius offers timeless advice for this practice. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. These words remind us that we don't need external validation to live virtuously. By focusing on our thoughts, decisions, and actions, we align ourselves with our highest potential. Each day presents opportunities to embody this principle, whether by showing kindness, staying composed, or pursuing a meaningful goal. So, what's one thing causing you stress that you can't control? How might you shift your focus toward what you can? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your strategies for navigating life's uncertainties with a Stoic mindset. And if this resonates with you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe for more practical insights. Together, we can build a community rooted in resilience and wisdom. By focusing on what you can control, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and create space for clarity, growth, and peace. Life's uncertainties will always be there, but your response to them is entirely within your power. So, take a moment today to identify what you can influence and commit to taking action. The strength you seek lies not in changing the world, but in mastering your mind. Let's begin this journey, starting now. Principle 5. Let go of external validation. The final principle in rediscovering your love for life is perhaps the most liberating, freeing yourself from the need for approval. In a world where social media likes, comments, and applause often seem to measure our worth, this might feel counterintuitive. Yet, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Living authentically doesn't require others' validation. It requires aligning with your inner values. Consider Sophia, a young artist who found herself trapped in the pursuit of external validation. Her career as a painter began with a deep love for art, but as her social media following grew, so did her reliance on the fleeting high of likes and comments. She became more concerned about what would perform well online than about what truly inspired her. Over time, her creativity waned, and she felt increasingly disconnected from her work. One day, exhausted by the pressure, Sophia decided to step back from social media. At first, it was terrifying. How would she know if her art was good enough? But gradually, she found herself reconnecting with the joy of creating. For the first time in years, she painted purely for herself. Her work became more vibrant, personal, and meaningful. The words of Marcus Aurelius, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength," became her guide. Sophia's journey reflects a universal truth. The more we chase others' approval, the further we stray from our authentic selves. External validation is like a mirage. It promises fulfillment, but leaves us perpetually thirsty. This endless pursuit traps us in a cycle of dissatisfaction as we hand over our sense of worth to forces beyond our control. Stoicism teaches that true contentment comes not from others' opinions, but from living in harmony with our own values. Marcus Aurelius captures this paradox perfectly. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Why is it so hard to let go of external validation? Part of the answer lies in societal conditioning. From an early age, we're taught to seek approval from parents, teachers, peers, and later, employers or audiences. Over time, this need becomes deeply ingrained, making it feel almost impossible to act without considering how others might react. Yet, as the Stoics understood, this reliance is a form of self-imposed slavery. It places our happiness in the hands of others, leaving us vulnerable to their whims and judgments. Breaking free from this cycle begins with a shift in perspective. Instead of asking, "What will others think?" start asking, "Does this align with my values?" This simple question can transform the way you approach decisions, helping you prioritize authenticity over approval. Imagine the freedom of living a life guided by your principles rather than others' expectations. To cultivate this mindset, start with silent acts of integrity. Each day, do something meaningful without seeking recognition. It could be as simple as helping a stranger, writing a heartfelt note, or dedicating time to a personal passion. These quiet actions reinforce the idea that your worth isn't tied to others' opinions. The reward is the act itself, not the applause it may or may not receive. Another powerful practice is self-reflection. At the end of each day, take a few moments to acknowledge your own achievements. What did you do well? What challenges did you face with resilience? This habit shifts your focus from external validation to internal fulfillment. Over time, you'll find that your confidence grows, not because others are cheering for you, but because you're cheering for yourself. Sophia's story reminds us that letting go of external validation doesn't mean rejecting connection or feedback. Instead, it's about reclaiming control over your sense of worth. When you stop relying on others to define your value, you create space to pursue what truly matters to you. This shift not only enriches your life but also inspires those around you. Authenticity is magnetic. It draws people in and encourages them to live more authentically as well. As you consider this principle, reflect on your own life. When was the last time you did something purely for yourself, without seeking approval? Perhaps it was pursuing a hobby, taking a quiet moment to reflect, or simply saying no to something that didn't align with your values. How did it feel? Chances are, it brought a sense of freedom and fulfillment that no amount of external praise could replicate. Letting go of external validation is not an overnight process. It's a practice that requires patience and persistence. Start small. Choose one area of your life where you often seek approval and commit to acting differently. For example, if you find yourself hesitating to share ideas at work for fear of judgment, challenge yourself to speak up anyway. Focus on the value of your contribution rather than the response it receives. Each time you take such a step, you strengthen your ability to act independently of others' opinions. Imagine the possibilities if you no longer relied on external validation. Picture yourself pursuing goals without fear, creating for the joy of it, and living in alignment with your true self. This isn't just a theoretical ideal, it's a practical reality that Stoic principles can help you achieve. Marcus Aurelius offers a powerful reminder: be content to seem what you really are. These words invite us to embrace our authenticity fully, without apology or pretense. What's one thing you can do today to practice this principle? Perhaps it's taking a step toward a personal goal, starting a project you've been hesitant about, or simply celebrating a small achievement without sharing it with anyone. Share your reflections in the comments below. We'd love to hear how you're embracing your inner freedom. And if this message resonates, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more insights on living authentically. Together, we can build a community that values self-growth over external approval. Letting go of external validation isn't about isolating yourself. It's about liberating yourself. It's about recognizing that your worth is not defined by others' opinions, but by your commitment to living with integrity. As you embark on this journey, remember that the most meaningful applause comes not from the crowd, but from within. So, what step will you take today to free yourself from the need for approval? The answer is yours to discover. Let's begin. These 5 principles: letting go of comparison, defining your priorities, embracing solitude, focusing on what you can control, and releasing the need for external validation, are more than just concepts. They are a roadmap to rediscovering joy and purpose in your life. Each one is a step toward living authentically, with clarity and peace. Together, they empower you to align with your true self and reclaim the happiness that comes from within. Imagine this: waking up each morning free from the weight of comparison, unburdened by the opinions of others, and fully focused on the things that truly matter to you. Picture yourself moving through your day with purpose and resilience, knowing that your actions align with your values and your energy is spent on what enriches your life. That is the freedom Stoicism offers: a life of meaning, fulfillment, and love for yourself. The question is, where will you start? Choose one principle and commit to practicing it today. Maybe it's spending 5 minutes reflecting in solitude, jotting down your priorities, or taking a single step toward letting go of external validation. Every small action brings you closer to the life you want and deserve. We want to hear from you. Share your journey in the comments below. What principle resonates with you most, and how will you apply it? Let's create a community where we inspire and support each other on this transformative path. If this message has moved you, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss the Stoic wisdom that can help you thrive. Your time is your most precious resource. Stop wasting it on what doesn't matter. Start investing it in yourself. The journey begins now, and it's a journey worth taking. Are you ready? Let's begin.